I think if someone actually wants to play OOT for the first time now, I do still recommend playing it on the PC port. I know that I'm like affiliated to the PC port, but I truly think that especially free cam is such a game changer for newcomers to the game.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know there was a PC port when I played it, so that would have been useful information.
To be honest, when you played it was a few years ago. It might have been just before it was about.
Very possibly.
So.
But yeah, like, as someone who's not directly affiliated with the PC port, I also recommend Ship of Harkinian. It's just a better way of experiencing the game these days, and there's so many little things that you like, options that you can turn on that just make those little, like, that just kind of add those quality of life things that I mentioned were missing, and kind of add them back to the game to make it more accessible to new players.
Yep.
It's worth noting that neither of the two people I mentioned played it on ship. Maybe they might have had a better time if they had. But there we go.
I mean, I think there's value in like trying the original product as well. I'm not saying that people should always play on ship.
Oh yeah, obviously, like, yeah. But it is like, I do think that especially a first-time player, it might be worth playing it on ship and maybe just activating some of those things that make it just a little bit easier.
Otherwise, when you say ship, what do you mean?
Ship of Harkinian.
This is my ad time for like 2 minutes, right? Are you ready for this? There is a PC port called Ship of Harkinian. This is an open source product, or project, I should say, which came from a different team that decompiled the entire source code of Ocarina of Time. So they like little bit by bit, they just recreated the code, checked if it like matched with the original code. If it did, okay, great. Then we go to the next bit of code. So now they have like a total recreation of what the code that Nintendo had is, essentially. So once you have that original code, then you can do stuff with it. For example, you can slowly port it over to a computer, right? That it runs on the computer instead of an N64. And that's basically what Ship of Harkinian is. But on top of that, it also has like a bunch of extra features that we've built into it, which is like a lot easier to do when you have access to the source code instead of, you know, hacking away at a ROM, basically. So yeah, that's basically what it is. It's a PC port with like a bunch of additions to it that was made possible because we're now working with source code.
Amazing. Yeah, and
what a golden age we live in.
Yeah, so it is amazing.
I think so, yeah.
And I don't know if we've actually mentioned this already on the pod, but for anyone who isn't already aware, yeah, aMannus is one of the people that made it, helped to make it. One of the many people. Hence the affiliation and the use of the word "we" when we're talking about making it. So there you go.
There you go.
But yeah, there you go. And that will be under the description on the YouTube video as well. It's definitely recommended if you have a PC. Just get it. It's free. It takes like 10 minutes to set up, and then you can play Ocarina of Time whenever you like, as many times as you like.
I had no idea. This is mad.
It's amazing. It's so good. And there's different modes on it, and you can change almost everything. Make sure when you play it, by the way, there's an option in the Silly where you can make the Goron's necks longer. If you don't play it with the long Goron necks, then you're not playing it right.
I've asked Miyamoto, and he said that those are now canon. So, so you know.
Consider yourself satisfied.